Happiness isn't something you find. It's not waiting for you in a dream job, a relationship, or some magical moment in the future. It's something you create. And right now, most people are chasing it the wrong way. We've been taught that happiness comes after success, after we check all the right boxes, get the degree, land the promotion, buy the house. But have you ever noticed that no matter how much you achieve, there's always something missing? That's because happiness isn't a destination. It's a habit, a mindset, a way of showing up every single day. So today we're cutting through the noise. No fluff, no sugarcoating, just the truth about what happiness really is and how you can start building it for yourself, starting right now. Happiness isn't something that magically appears when life finally goes your way. It's something you build moment by moment, decision by decision. Most people spend their lives waiting for the right job, the right person, the right number in their bank account, thinking that when they get there, happiness will follow. But that's a trap, because if happiness always depends on something outside of you, you'll never truly have control over it. The truth is, happiness isn't a reward for success. It's the foundation for it. When you make a conscious choice to create happiness in your daily life, you start showing up differently. You take more risks, you see opportunities instead of obstacles, and you build the kind of life that feels good, not just looks good from the outside. That's what most people get wrong. They think happiness is the result of achieving their goals, when in reality, it's the fuel that gets them there. Think about it. Have you ever set a big goal, pushed yourself to the limit, and finally achieved it, only to feel underwhelmed once you got there? You thought that when you reached that milestone, everything would change, but after the excitement wore off, you were still the same person, with the same thoughts, the same habits, the same worries. That's because external success can't create internal happiness. It has to be the other way around. So if happiness isn't something you find, how do you create it? It starts with understanding that your brain isn't naturally wired for happiness. It's wired for survival. That means it's constantly scanning for threats, problems, and reasons to be on high alert. Left unchecked, it will always focus on what's wrong, what's missing, and what could go wrong next. That's why you can have a perfectly good day, but the one negative comment, the one thing that didn't go according to plan, is what sticks with you. Your mind naturally gravitates toward the negative, and unless you train it otherwise, it will always default to stress, worry, and dissatisfaction. This is why happiness is a skill, not a feeling. It's something you practice every single day. It's not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about intentionally shifting your focus to what's within your control. It's about choosing to see the good even when things aren't going your way. It's about creating habits that train your brain to experience more joy, more gratitude, more fulfillment, regardless of your circumstances. One of the biggest shifts you can make is changing your definition of happiness. Most people think happiness is about feeling good all the time, but that's not realistic. No one is happy 24/7. Life is messy. Things will go wrong. You'll have days where you feel stressed, frustrated, or overwhelmed. That doesn't mean you're failing at happiness. Real happiness isn't about avoiding negative emotions. It's about building the resilience to handle them without letting them consume you. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, you have the power to shift your mindset, to find meaning, to take action that moves you forward instead of keeping you stuck. One of the most powerful ways to create happiness is through gratitude. And before you roll your eyes and think, yeah, I've heard this before, let me tell you why it works. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system. It's the filter that determines what you notice and pay attention to. When you actively practice gratitude, you train your brain to focus on what's good, what's working, what you appreciate. And the more you do that, the more evidence your brain starts to collect that reinforces those positive feelings. It's like upgrading the lens through which you see your life. But gratitude isn't just about thinking happy thoughts. It's about taking action. It's about expressing appreciation to the people in your life, about recognizing your own progress, about making it a habit to acknowledge what's going right instead of always obsessing over what's wrong. When you make gratitude a daily practice, it changes the way you experience everything. It turns small moments into sources of joy. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already here. And the best part, it's completely within your control. Another key to creating happiness is taking ownership of your choices. A lot of people don't realize how much power they have over their own emotions. They think their happiness depends on their circumstances, on what other people say or do, on things they can't control. But here's the truth. No one is responsible for your happiness except you. You can't wait for someone else to make you feel good. You can't rely on external validation or perfect conditions. You have to decide every single day to take action that moves you toward happiness. That means setting boundaries with people who drain your energy. That means taking care of your physical and mental health. That means doing things that bring you joy, even if they seem small or insignificant. That means stopping the cycle of overthinking and self-doubt and just taking action even when you don't feel like it. Because the more you take ownership of your happiness, the less power you give to everything that tries to take it away. And let's talk about something that keeps so many people stuck, the belief that they're not there yet. So many people tell themselves, I'll be happy when they lose weight, when they make more money, when they finally figure everything out. But that mindset keeps you in a constant state of dissatisfaction. Because even when you do reach those milestones, you'll just set new ones. You'll keep pushing happiness further and further into the future, never allowing yourself to fully experience it in the present. The truth is, happiness isn't in some distant future. It's in the small moments you choose to appreciate. It's in the effort you put into growing, into learning, into becoming a better version of yourself. It's in the way you show up for yourself every single day, even when things aren't perfect, because they never will be. And that's okay. You don't need perfection to be happy. You just need the willingness to shift your focus, to take action, and to stop waiting for some external achievement to give you permission to enjoy your life. At the end of the day, happiness is about alignment. It's about making sure that your actions match your values, that the way you spend your time reflects what truly matters to you. It's about being honest with yourself. Are you living in a way that feels good to you, or are you just going through the motions, trying to meet expectations that don't actually make you happy? Because real happiness isn't about impressing other people. It's about living in a way that feels right for you. And here's the best part. You don't have to wait to start creating happiness. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to wait until you're more successful, more confident, more ready. You can start right now in this moment by making one small choice that moves you toward joy, by choosing to see the good, by taking action even when you don't feel like it, by deciding that your happiness is worth prioritizing, because it is, and it always has been. Happiness is built in the small, everyday moments. How you talk to yourself, how you react to challenges, and the choices you make when no one is watching. The way you wake up, the way you start your day, the things you focus on, all shape your experience of life. If you wake up and immediately start thinking about what's wrong, what's missing, or what you need to fix, you're already setting yourself up to feel dissatisfied. But if you wake up and make the conscious decision to focus on something good, something you're grateful for, or even just something small that excites you, you shift your entire energy. And that shift is everything, because your emotions influence your actions. and your actions shape your reality. The problem is, most people are living in reaction mode. They let their emotions control them instead of realizing they have the power to control their emotions. They wake up and check their phone first thing, letting notifications, emails, and social media dictate their mood. They go through their day reacting to whatever happens to them instead of deciding how they want to feel and taking action that supports that decision. But if you let your happiness depend on outside circumstances, you're giving up your power. You're allowing everything and everyone else to dictate your emotional state. One of the most powerful ways to take back control is through movement. Your body and your mind are connected, and how you move directly impacts how you feel. Think about the last time you were in a bad mood. Your posture was probably slouched, your breathing was shallow, your energy was low. Now imagine yourself standing up straight, shoulders back, taking deep breaths, moving with purpose. That simple change in physical state immediately shifts your mindset. That's why exercise is so important, not just for your physical health, but for your mental and emotional well-being. It's not about looking a certain way or hitting a certain number on the scale. It's about changing your energy, releasing stress, and building momentum that carries into the rest of your life. Momentum is key when it comes to happiness. The more you take action, the more you feel in control, and the more you feel in control, the happier you become. But most people are waiting for motivation to strike before they take action. They think they need to feel inspired before they start working toward their goals, but that's backward. Action comes first and motivation follows. When you start moving, even in small ways, you create momentum. And that momentum builds confidence, energy, and excitement, which all contribute to happiness. The problem is that people overcomplicate happiness. They think it requires some big life-changing event, but it doesn't. Happiness is in the simple daily decisions. Choosing to move your body, choosing to eat food that nourishes you, choosing to engage in conversations that uplift you, choosing to spend time on things that genuinely matter to you. It's about being intentional with your time and energy instead of mindlessly going through the motions. And that's where most people struggle. They get stuck in routines that don't serve them. They wake up, go to a job they don't love, come home exhausted, scroll through social media, watch TV, go to bed, and repeat the same cycle day after day. Then they wonder why they don't feel happy. But the truth is, happiness requires effort. It requires breaking out of autopilot and making conscious choices that align with the life you actually want to live. It means saying no to things that drain your energy and yes to things that fill you up. One of the biggest energy drainers is comparison. In a world where you have access to everyone's highlight reels on social media, it's easy to feel like you're falling behind. You see other people traveling, getting promotions, starting businesses, buying houses, and you start questioning your own progress. But here's what you need to remember. You're only seeing a fraction of their reality. No one posts about their self-doubt, their failures, their struggles. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's best moments. And that's a recipe for unhappiness. The more you focus on what other people are doing, the less energy you have for your own growth. The key is to shift from comparison to inspiration. Instead of looking at other people's success and feeling like you're not enough, use it as proof that what you want is possible. If someone else has built a life they love, that means you can too. If someone else has overcome challenges and created happiness for themselves, so can you. Instead of feeling discouraged by what others have, use it as motivation to take action in your own life. And speaking of taking action, one of the best ways to create happiness is through progress. Human beings are wired for growth. When you're learning, improving, and moving forward, you feel fulfilled. But when you're stuck in the same place, doing the same things, feeling like you're not evolving, you start to feel frustrated and unmotivated. That's why setting goals is so important, not because you need to achieve some big accomplishment to be happy, but because having something to work toward gives you purpose. It gives you a reason to push yourself to challenge yourself to become better. But here's the catch. Your goals need to be your own. Too many people chase goals that don't actually make them happy. They go after careers that look impressive but don't excite them. They pursue relationships that seem ideal on paper but don't truly fulfill them. They set goals based on what society expects instead of what actually brings them joy. And then they wonder why, even after achieving those things, they still feel empty. The key is to get clear on what genuinely matters to you. Not what looks good to other people, not what you think you should do. What actually lights you up, what makes you feel alive. What kind of life do you want to build, regardless of anyone else's opinion? Once you get clear on that, the next step is consistency. Happiness isn't created through one big dramatic change. It's built through the small things you do every single day. It's in your morning routine, your daily habits, the way you talk to yourself, the way you treat other people. It's in the decision to prioritize your mental health, to take breaks when you need them, to do things that bring you joy even when life is stressful. Because, let's be honest, life will always have challenges. There will always be obstacles, setbacks, moments of uncertainty. If you tie your happiness to everything going perfectly, you'll never feel truly happy. That's why it's so important to cultivate happiness from within, to build a mindset that allows you to experience joy even when things aren't perfect, to develop habits that support your mental and emotional well-being, to surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you, to take action every day that aligns with the life you want to create. Another thing that affects happiness is how you spend your time. So many people are exhausted not because they're physically doing too much, but because they're mentally drained by things that don't matter. They spend hours scrolling through social media, arguing about things they can't control, overanalyzing situations that won't even matter in a year, and then they wonder why they feel stuck, unmotivated, or disconnected from their own life. Your energy is your most valuable resource, and if you're constantly wasting it on things that don't serve you, you're robbing yourself of happiness. That's why you need to be intentional with your time. Spend it on things that make you feel good, that help you grow, that bring you closer to the person you want to become. Invest in relationships that are meaningful instead of maintaining ones that drain you. Create instead of just consuming. Do things that challenge you instead of just numbing yourself with distractions. Because at the end of the day, happiness isn't about how busy you are, it's about how fulfilled you feel. And fulfillment comes from being present. Too many people are constantly living in the past, dwelling on mistakes, or worrying about the future, stressing over things that haven't even happened yet. But happiness isn't in the past, and it's not in the future. It's in this moment, right now. It's in the way you show up for today, the conversations you have, the gratitude you express, the choices you make. Because ultimately, happiness isn't something you find, it's something you create. And it starts with the decision to stop waiting and start living right now. At the end of the day, happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you create. It's not waiting for you in some future achievement or perfect moment. It's built in the small choices you make every single day. It's in how you think, how you move, how you show up for yourself and the people around you. It's in the way you choose to see your life, not as something that's happening to you, but as something you have the power to shape. No one else is responsible for your happiness. Not your job, not your relationships, not your bank account. You are. And that's a good thing because it means you don't have to wait for life to be perfect to start feeling fulfilled. You don't have to wait for circumstances to change before you start living with more joy, more gratitude, more purpose. Happiness isn't about everything going right. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, you have the mindset, the habits, and the resilience to keep moving forward. It's about taking control, making intentional choices, and deciding that you are worthy of a life that feels good, not just looks good. So stop waiting. Stop making happiness conditional. Start creating it now. Because the life you want isn't somewhere out there. It starts right here with you.